Hello, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to another Moonflower Tarot reading. And today I'm going to be channeling messages from your higher self, your ancestors, and spirit regarding any advice or good news on your shadow work journey. If you've been working towards healing old wounds, past trauma, then this message is for you. If you haven't been working on that, there still might be some information regarding some sort of spiritual upgrade or just healing work in general you might need to do coming from your higher self. And I want to thank you for being here and remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help this channel out. I appreciate you being here. And everyone is more than welcome to join these videos from whatever walk of life they're at. Even if you don't see yourself on a shadow work journey, when it comes to healing a lot of wounds, there's a lot that is missed out there and missed opportunities when it comes to dealing with shadow work insofar as a tool rather than a coping mechanism in the spiritual community and in psychology. It is good to pair both doing the inner psychological trauma work analysis as well as doing some spiritual healing and engaging with spirit. It's supposed to be an addition to the healing process. Oftentimes we see it used as a way to bypass things. There's a lot of spiritual bypassing that can occur or co-occur when we're really trying to find a way to escape our own emotions. And I'm getting a sense here that some of you have been really working very hard and patiently for a very long time to overcome a lot of wounds. You might not be seeing the results that you had hoped for, or there might be this feeling overall that you're not progressing in a way that is appropriate by social standards. And what I will say about social standards is that it's all an illusion. It's subjective. What is meant for one person is not meant for everyone, and society does not benefit from us all going with the mindset that we all sort of heal on the same timeline. We heal in the same way. That's not true. And just like I said, spiritual bypassing exists where, you use spirituality as a way to kind of not do the inner work, not address the emotions, not address the pain. And, that's not uncommon and it's nothing to be ashamed of. There's also emotional bypassing, which has come up for me in my own trauma work and recently in my waking life, addressing the fact that sometimes we will add so many layers of logic to the motivations behind our emotions, that emotions are inherently illogical and by design flawed, and in a very almost predatory, toxically masculine mindset. It can be easily emotional bypassing is a way to fictitiously resolve what is essentially a wound born from fear of feeling emotions. If you are bypassing emotions, you're not healing a wound. You are letting it fester. You're not addressing it. And, that's something we also see. And that's why it's so important to go to therapy, to be able to be with someone who's safe, who can help you address those wounds. And if that's not something you can do, if that doesn't feel appropriate for you, if that's not the issue with you, then disregard that. But when it comes to managing your symptoms, whether it's emotional symptoms, whether it's pain management, like ignoring the issue, suppressing how you feel about the issue, not addressing it properly, does not make it go away. And in fact, it can make it worse and it can make you angry. It can, pretty much revert any of the healing you're doing because you're letting that build up in your nervous system. And it causes a catastrophic effect on the rest of your life as well. And if that is something that you feel might be the case with you, then we'll definitely get some advice. But that might be also why you're not seeing as much progress with your spiritual healing. It's mostly and it's not your fault. I don't want you to go around blaming yourself. It's something that was taught early on is being resolved, and it has to do with your relationship with your emotions, how you choose to heal it, and letting go of this false reality that you have to apply logic and reasoning to something that doesn't operate on those same standards. Sometimes, y'all, you need to cry and you don't need to understand why. So, and again, it depends on the severity of the wounds you're facing. It depends on if it's in this life, if it's a past life thing. And especially when we're dealing with, trigger warning, PTSD or complex trauma, that's an issue that like everybody needs to unpack with another person, a professional, a group of people, and having a community around you to support you, to encourage you to keep going. Like, I think the divine is asking us more than ever to turn to each other in times of trouble, because we are living through hard times where, like, I'm just going to say this, every single person on this planet, whether they know it or not, probably has some sort of complex traumatic symptoms, definitely starting like right before the pandemic. And I know that might be like kind of a broad statement for me to say, but what I'm going to say is that usually when we see like entire societies go through hard times, everyone suffers. Everyone has that wound. Every single day, they're looking out their window and they're seeing their neighbors are falling, their neighbors are fighting each other. Everything's going to chaos. You can't live in a bubble at this point in time. Like, only mentally can you live in a bubble. But when you're seeing everybody outside of you hurting and you feel that because we're all connected, that's kind of where that comes in. You're exposed to it every day and it wears you down, and it affects all of your systems. It affects your psychology. It affects your work. So what God needs you to know now, what spirit and your higher self needs you to know, is that you need a sense of community. You need to turn both inward to come back to a sense of love, but also turn outward to those who support you. And that might mean taking a risk or a leap of faith. But all in all, the universe, God, and your higher self support you with whatever method you use to challenge these shadows, to heal. And understand that by doing the inner work now, by doing the healing now, and understanding the process of working through trauma or working through different issues from your past, your present, it's going to affect your future, and it's also going to heal future generations. Because think about our great grandparents, think about our grandparents in the world. They went through horrifying situations, some of them have. And in fact, most of our ancestors did go through a lot developing as a society. And we as a species carry their wounds, and we as a society, it turns into a psychological phenomenon, and we kind of feed off of each other. You're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. And it's more effective if you do it with another person. Okay, so I think that was a very interesting preamble. So I'm going to say whatever song I receive, I will link in the description below. The first song that came up that is like the overarching energy is About Damn Time by Lizzo. So their spirit guides are very adamant that not only either are you doing the healing work now, you're starting it, or you have been doing it for a while, they were basically like, yeah, it's about damn time. It's about damn time you love yourself. You learn to love yourself. You cherish yourself like we do. And so I think a main issue I feel mostly is surrounding the divine feminine as well, like dealing with matters of the heart. Like, if you felt like there was an area of stagnancy in your life, I'm going to get a clarifier card. Yeah, okay, so this is you presently. I'm just going to move these aside. So this is what you are going through currently, and it's kind of what I felt. There's something hold up inside your mind that you're not ready to let go of, or you're not ready to receive information that could help you let go of it. There might be some, I think, complacency. Like, you're feeling like you're satisfied with where you are, but deep down inside, you're not. And that is a form of self-sabotage and self-deceit. And it could be possibly there's something reoccurring in your life that you feel like you have no control of and you can't get away of. And what your higher self wants you to know is that you always have a reason and a responsibility to react in a certain way. And teaching yourself to react differently to a reoccurring situation can actually resolve that situation from either happening in the future or happening in a different way. When we're going through trauma work and healing, as I've been shown, and as a lot of people I follow have mentioned before, healing is a cycle. It's a spiral. It's not the snake eating its own tail. It's this spiral of ascension or spiral of descension. So you can reverse your healing and regress in a spiral, or you can progress and ascend when you heal. And when you're meeting these situations over and over again, the universe, your higher self, and whatever intentions you set to do healing work is encouraging you to respond in a different way, to not respond from a place of ego, but respond from a place of higher understanding and learning. You are most likely repeating some sort of lesson over and over again regarding people in your life, or it's not necessarily a lesson, it's just a wound that is being healed, whether you set intentions to heal it or not, that's encouraging you to respond in a different way, to react in a way that is not like you would have before. So let's say if you have this wound, let's make it lighthearted. Like, let's say someone used to make fun of your makeup when you were younger and you really liked painting your face in a certain way. You thought you were a movie star and you really liked doing it. But time and time again, you would hear someone come in and say, no, that's not how you do it. That's not the right way to do it. You look horrible. Like people saying these things. And this is just an example. And time again, you go and you study makeup, you study, you kind of share your gift with other people. And there's either a thought process in your head that keeps coming up that says you're not good enough. And then there are people outside of you who keep, giving you negative feedback or plain just bullying you. Like, if that's the case, the universe is saying to you, don't respond and react. Don't accept the bully's truth as your own. Don't accept the bully's lies as your own. So if you are someone who has done that sort of thing, I lost track of my metaphor. Basically, it's like if this makeup artist instead one day chose to take someone's insult as a compliment, then they can kind of move forward without seeing as many insults because they're not paying attention to it. Because for as many people who are insulting this person, there are probably a lot of people who appreciate the freedom of expression, who appreciate that this person is breaking the mold and who will gain influence, like who will be affected positively. Like they could set a trend. They're doing something different. But if this makeup artist chooses to say, oh, I'm not good enough, I never will be, and then give up on their dreams, they're kind of giving in to the bullies. They're giving in to their own worries and fears. And so that might be something that's coming up for you. If you have an insecurity or wound and it keeps being brought up and addressed either within yourself or just mirrored by others or both, the universe is sending you guidance and information along your path to say, how do you choose to react? Knowing this is a trigger for you, knowing this is coming up, do you feed into the negativity or do you choose to counterbalance that by saying, hey, you know what? Who cares what they think? They're probably unhappy with themselves. They're probably projecting. I'm doing just fine. I don't care what people think. I'm going to still do this. And eventually that becomes your new pattern of behavior. And eventually that becomes the way you choose to respond every time. And then if you do that enough times, you're retraining your brain to know it's okay to accept both positive and negative feedback. And it's not going to hinder your ability to heal and move forward with what you do. And you're able to get out of the stagnant energy. But the chances are is it's a combination of something's happening outside of you. It's also being perpetuated by something inside, internally. how you respond is going to change your future. People will still probably be mean. People will be mean sometimes because, they're insecure and they're hurt, but don't let their wounds then become a part of your narrative, your reality. Let them be sad and miserable and decide to hurt you. And eventually, over time, it will heal. But remember, it takes time. It's like every single time you choose to react in a different way to the negativity or bullying or even your own thoughts, you are kind of rewiring your brain to just respond in a less intense, more healed way. And this might take a lot of time. Let me just tell you that I have done this process in my life for several different wounds, and it does get easier every single time. Like I face a trigger, I still feel a lot of that same fear. I still feel like my sympathetic nervous system going haywire. But you know what I don't do? I don't respond or react in the same way. I don't react. I take a step back. I reassess. I don't lash out. I don't, criticize. I just kind of set a boundary with myself and another person. And depending on the severity of the wound, I might have to excuse myself, or I just might have to unmask and completely, let go. But the truth is that all you need to do is just let this go, let it out. Allow yourself to grieve if this is a wound surrounding, an emotional fear, to have an emotional reaction, to let go of something. It's like you're going to keep facing this until you allow yourself to heal, I guess. Let me see if we have any advice surrounding how to free yourself from this. I'm hearing toxic karmic cycle. Some of you might be dealing with a toxic karmic loop, and it has to do with something you're healing since childhood, something that's been present in your life for a while. For some of you, this could be past life stuff, but I'm getting this feeling that this is like childhood issues or childhood trauma. I'm seeing an entire family, like a generational wound. I just got an image of someone with a young woman with almost dirty blonde hair. She was very pretty and she was wearing white. That might be an ancestral guide or maybe one of my viewers, but this feels like this is some sort of family karmic baggage or a family dynamic that you are releasing from you that's been there since childhood. And the biggest advice is to just keep doing what you've been doing on your healing journey. Keep pouring into you. Keep allowing yourself to be free with your emotions, and overall be very patient. Healing takes time, and not everybody heals at the same rate. And I will tell you, sometimes spirituality doesn't make it any easier. Ascending spiritually, yes, it can be very gratifying. And I will say I've been very fortunate to take this, my own personal traumatic healing journey alongside with the spiritual journey. But at the end of the day, the path of least resistance is really up to you, and you have the right to choose which path you take to healing. And no one has the right to decide that for you. It really is about going with what you feel is best for you, going with your gut instinct, knowing what is right for you, and what is right for you is not right for everyone. And, don't go with the status quo is what I'm hearing, because it's not a one size fits all kind of pathway, because the human, I just heard the phrase your higher self said, the human mind is so intricate that there are so many inconsistencies in our waking world that cause it to be so difficult to navigate a healing pathway with paint by numbers standards. And this is statistical analysis of what it means to heal, and this thing works for this, and it's been scientifically proven. It's I'm sure there's a lot of things that have been scientifically proven, but the brain is still not a certainty with what it is doing, what it is capable of doing, and how it is affected by the world around us, by our past lives, by our souls, incarnations, by the environment. Like, it's a compound issue, it's not separate. The mind and body is not a separate thing. The mind, body, and soul is not separate. We shouldn't tackle it as separate things and try to like compartmentalize what is our emotions, what is our brain, what is logic. No, it all works together. And the best way to heal yourself, and the way your higher self is recommending you, is just to keep pouring into you and flowing in the direction you feel is right. Even if it feels like it goes against the advice of the people who speak with you, even if it goes against the advice of professionals. Like, and I don't always like, okay, I don't want like giving that information, take it with a grain of salt. And remember, do what you feel is right for you at the end of the day. Yes, seek professional help, seek help from and guidance from those who know what they're doing. I don't recommend it doing alone. Let me ask Spirit for further clarification of what they mean by that. Okay, not all charity is good. Not all that glitters is gold. When people, okay, so different people go into, how do I want to say this? Certain people might try to give you a miracle cure for a very complex issue, a very nuanced issue, and for an issue that doesn't have a deadline. There's no one size fits all to healing, and healing takes a lifetime sometimes. And with this Six of Pentacles, it's like, yeah, I'm seeing this as like a snake oil salesman. Someone's trying to sell you a dream. And that's kind of going in with the theme of emotional and spiritual bypassing. Like, you can't wave a magic wand and make yourself feel better. If you've been told by people in your family or society to like go a path that is uncertain for you or feels uncomfortable and it feels like it's too quick and good to be true, your higher self and spirit are asking you to take the road or path less traveled that takes longer, rather than a quick fix which might not be good for you and cause a relapse. So like, what am I saying by this? Like, if you go to a certain kind of, let's say you go to a spiritual guru, let me just say, and they say, oh, you just need to check out this self-help book, and you need to attend my seminars and do my Reiki classes, and all you have to do is not react to your emotions. But they don't really tell you how to not react. They don't give you much helpful information. They assure you that by doing this work and having me do the work and paying this amount of money, you're going to be healed and you're going to be cured. When the truth is that in actuality, you can go to a Reiki healer. You can go to someone who does that type of healing. You can get self-help books, but you need to do the work. You can't have someone say, I'm going to wave my hand over you and now you're free. You're not going to have someone say, if you read this and in 10 days and you stick to, me channeling messages that tell you this and tell you that, you don't take the quick fix way out, because the way out is through you reprogramming your mind alongside with the spiritual aspect, the religious aspect, the going to, see family and friends. It's a community effort, basically. So if that's something you've been contemplating, or if there's a specific like doctor you've been going to that's telling you, oh, we can do this to cure your mental illness, or we can do this to fix what's going on in your mind, it's like, don't take that path. Yes, if they're suggesting you need to, do something that is probably good for you, yes. But if they're suggesting something that is like a quick fix that is going to get rid or cure something in your mind, be very wary and understand that there's no cure to a trauma wound. The cure to a trauma wound is addressing it, allowing yourself to get a chance to learn how to react to it. because numbing your mind is not giving your body a chance to heal. Numbing your mind is not giving your soul a chance to heal. You are basically handing over complete control to how you regulate your own emotional reactions to a placebo. And that's not always healthy, because what happens if it wears off? And I know that's pretty intense to say, but that is basically what I'm hearing from your higher self. Archangel Michael's also with you right now. He's helping you find a community that's going to be good for you. So, and I'm not against like the mental health community as far as doing a combination of modern medicine and holistic work, but understanding the brain is a complex thing, trauma is a complex thing, it affects the whole body, is what leads to a lot of mismanagement. And I'm just saying from my own experience, I've seen both worlds. I've been in both worlds. And, what works for me is not going to work for you, obviously. But one of the things I know personally is that when my mind was numb, I couldn't regulate my emotions. And in order to, I still felt them. I still relived my trauma, even when my mind was numb. So I had to choose, do I want to learn how to regulate on my own? And since then, it's been a little bit easier for me to know that it can get better over time. I'm not stuck. But if you are surrounded by people who are going in either direction, saying, no, you're going to be stuck here forever, you can't change what is inherently going on in your mind, or you can fix this instantly, like in 2 or 3 weeks, your depression, anxiety, all the stuff you went through in childhood, it's gone. You're not going to feel any fear. You're just going to be calm and not react to emotions. And it's like, you're going to be a highly spiritual person. Yeah, it's like, find a balance in the middle. The way to find balance is just pour into you. Find what works for you. And sometimes it's trial and error. So I hope that helps, because it feels like some of you might have been offered something, because I'm seeing specifically someone go into a self-help section and having like an author almost berate them for not doing things better, and almost guilting and shaming someone out of like their hard-earned cash and their time and energy for something, they need direction and guidance on how to heal. And it is entirely possible that there are spiritual healers out there who have good intentions, but don't understand that not everybody can heal from a deep wound in that such a way. It takes a lot of time and energy. That's what I'm going to say. You probably don't want to hear it, and you probably don't like hearing it, and I understand. That's literally when I first started my healing journey. God said, oh yeah, this is going to take a lifetime, and I kept kind of arguing with him in a way, like, don't tell me that. I kept setting unreasonable goals, and I'm going to heal this in a year and in 2 years. And he's like, it's going to take like 2 or 3 lifetimes to heal the damage you've been through. Don't worry about it. So that's why I'm saying, listen, don't keep moving the goalpost. Your only goalpost is to move forward and be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. You are not going to be entirely healed in this lifetime, and that's okay. You don't need to be. The only reason that you should be on this healing journey is for you, because you want to better yourself as a person. And yes, you are going to help other people, and other people might be a motivation, like especially if you're coming from a family or if you're a parent and you want to do better for other people, yes. But at the end of the day, it's still your choice. It's still you living your life, you understanding that you are part of a conscious mind that is in millions upon billions of individual bodies that have their own natures, that have their own wills and identities. And you alone decide what you want for you. And once you choose that, the universe will guide you in the best direction, the path of least resistance. And sometimes the path of least resistance is just you going your own path and not feeding into the ego, the lies of people who tell you to go in their direction and leave you with even more debt and karmic baggage and feelings of self-loathing because their quick fix didn't heal you. And if their quick fix doesn't heal you, it's not your fault. You're not damaged beyond repair. You're not broken. You're a beautiful soul, and the universe loves you very much. Let's see if there are other messages coming through. I think some of you might be, yeah, okay. You might be receiving hints in your dreams or reasons to walk away from a connection. If you were formerly in some sort of group of people, whether, okay, I'm hearing cult or a coven, like if you're a spiritual person, spiritual healer, tarot reader, or you were around a group of people who may have kind of been on the darker side of things and use that as an excuse to like make mental rationalizations around bad practices, that you're going to be guided in a way out of that and return to a spiritual state of youth. And if some of you have been asking for guidance regarding that, please let me know in the comments. I can always put up a video about like exit strategies, or I can do some sort of collective cleansing ritual in a reading. Let me know if you like that. But I think something that is healing is this mindset of self-sabotage that originally came from outside of you, maybe. It feels like if some of you had come from an environment or community that was not quite ethical in its practices, or knew what it was doing was kind of a quick and easy, but not necessarily good. And this is going to be very specific for some of you, but if this is the case, like you're going to be able to walk away with a clear conscience. And that might be why some of you feel stuck in this energy. There might be some guilt surrounding this. Like you deserve to not heal. You deserve to feel the pain you're in. And like no one does. You don't. Like, honey, it doesn't matter what you did. And it doesn't matter. If you can't forgive yourself now, that's okay. But just know you are worthy. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of patience. And while, yes, you might have to make amends with yourself and others, whether it's, spiritually, whether it's just by doing the right thing from now on, don't blame yourself. It's easy to cast harsh judgment on yourself and others when there's a lot of pain involved. But I just want to say something to you that I was told briefly this morning, and that was just a reminder of none of us are truly evil. People or souls are not evil, but actions can be or seem like it. Actions can harm. Actions can be cruel, but people are not evil or cruel. We just exist. We can go in either direction, and ultimately it's up to you to choose. Do you forgive the part of yourself that chose to do something that was cruel, or chose to do something that you felt hurt someone? Because it's possible that people who are manipulating you into doing that might have been the reason for it, but that does not define you. You are not an evil person for doing an act you might consider evil. No one is evil. No soul is evil. Only actions are. And if you choose to do an action in the form of peace, in the form of the opposite, you're not beyond redemption. But taking the path of least resistance means looking in yourself and forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for the version of you were when you were in an environment that wasn't good for you. And you are worthy of love and justice and peace, no matter what you did. You are always worthy of redemption, and you will always be welcomed back into the flock. I'm being taken, like, whether you're religious or not, I'm being taken to the parable of the lost sheep from the Bible. And the idea of one person redeeming themselves is worth more in the eyes of God than an entire flock who has been loyal. Because that lost sheep can come home, and God loves you so much, He will accept you. He knows you so deeply, and you are always welcome no matter what you did. As long as you learn to forgive yourself and others and choose to do better moving forward, choose to act differently. So that's kind of the message I have for you. I know this has been a little bit longer, and I'm hoping to do more of this to help with healing work, but I want to thank you once again for joining me. I wish you the best, all my love. I'm sending a lot of light and energy to you and the collective, and I will see you in another reading.